So I originally wanted to be a clinical psychologist, which I'm not. I'm a developmental psychologist, so I look at technically conception through death and all of the socio-emotional and biological and cognitive and cultural things that make people come together to be who they are over time. But I switched from clinical to developmental because I was actually working in childcare. I've worked in childcare on and off since 2010, 2011. And unfortunately, this little girl, you're not supposed to have favorites, but she was one of my favorites. Her mom had been in remission from cancer, and unfortunately it came back, and she passed away within a couple weeks. And not only did I think like that would be so hard to work with children in that context, who are so young, they don't understand what's happening, but also just thinking about how does she continue to thrive, how does she get other support factors in her life. So she ended up having a full-time nanny who became kind of like a second caregiver, parent figure, and that was really supportive and healthy for her. I love my family, but we weren't the best at communication. And so looking back at my own life and thinking about, the patterns I've had in relationships and how might that have been different if I'd had healthier communication modeled for me. And then I have now 4 nephews and a niece, and just watching them grow up and be just happy little humans and wanting them to stay happy, slightly bigger humans as they continue to grow. And beyond that, working in childcare, like I said, I've been in it for years on and off, and I worked as a lead infant teacher for a couple of years, and you get very attached to those kids. You're with them 8+ hours a day, and even now, several years out, I still talk to those families. I still get updates on those kids, and so I kind of think of them as my own extended little family. So just a lot of different factors, really. I have my own nieces and nephews. I have these kind of I don't know what the right term would even be, but extra children that aren't mine, but I got to take care of from when they were 6 weeks old, and I just really wanted to be able to give back some of that knowledge. So I think I've been fortunate to have a really good intersection of I get to work one-on-one with kids, but also have this academic background, and really bringing those things together and sharing what I've learned from that is important to me. Yeah, so how the articles were written, honestly, just, it sounds really cheesy to say like from my heart or something like that, but these are just things I'm really passionate about. Having healthy attachments with children, loving children unconditionally is one of the best things that you can do for them. And I've seen that in action. Children are going to mess up and they're going to have difficult things happen to them, but when they know they have that secure person to go back to, it doesn't hurt as much or it doesn't sting as long, and they bounce back. And that's just, I've not only seen that in person, but the research shows that having that helps in so many areas of their lives. It helps academically, it helps them have better friends, it helps them have better mental health, it helps them have better physical health. So many things can come from having that positive, healthy attachment early on. And that leads to one of my recent articles is on resiliency, which is just kind of looking at the same thing from a slightly different lens. How do you help children continue to grow and thrive even when the best things don't happen in their lives? We can't always protect them from everything, but what can we do to make sure that they still, I keep using the same words, but that they still come out feeling healthy and happy afterwards. Modeling healthy behavior. So again, that's something that I have seen both personally and academically and just in a lot of families. A lot of people think that as long as you're saying the right things, that's enough. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, kids are sponges. They notice everything. So even when you're saying the right things, if you're not being kind to yourself in the way that you speak or think about your body, they pick up on that. And again, I've seen that, in my own family. I've had family members who had eating disorders. I've had friends who have had eating disorders, and I've seen children, even in childcare, starting to have unhealthy thoughts about what food they should and shouldn't eat. So just really trying to encourage families, not only do you get to help your children by talking about yourself positively and moving your body in healthy and happy ways, but it also helps you. And that fake it till you make it is supported in the research, right? Even if you don't believe it at first, saying positive things about yourself helps you feel better too. So future topics I would like to write about would be, one of them would be emotional intelligence. So teaching children not only how to label their emotions, but also like what it feels like in their bodies when they have different emotions. I've done this with students in the classroom, and I ask them, okay, what's another word for angry? Or what does your face look like when you're angry? Or how does your body feel? And I get like 1 or 2 responses, but they all kind of panic because they've never had to think about it. And the more that you can connect with your body and identify those emotions and then have the words to express them, the better you feel, the better you're able to manage your emotions, the better you're able to connect and empathize with others, and the better your social relationships get. So teaching and learning and having emotional intelligence are just hugely important skills as well. The takeaways that I hope readers would get from my articles, I honestly, the first word that comes to mind is just love. Being able to not only love your children, but love yourself, it just helps everyone feel better and feel happier. And I happen to be a mental health researcher as well, so I focus specifically on what parents can do to help their kids feel good mentally and emotionally. But we also know that the better you feel mentally and emotionally, the better you feel physically too, that reducing that stress helps people, it lessens your, I don't want to get too technical, like your cortisol levels, your stress levels in your body, and that leads to better physical health outcomes too, so you're less likely to have like heart issues and even cancer later on. So really just loving yourself and loving your children and your family helps everyone do better.